We're here at the One-to-One Mining Investment Conference in New York with Plateau Energy Metals. For those who haven't heard your story, can you give us a background?
Yeah, very simply, we're part of, we've got two very significant assets, one in the lithium space and one in the uranium space in Peru, and quite simply we're part of this movement towards carbon neutral and electric vehicle adoption. On the carbon neutral front, the uranium project is very interesting. We're starting to see sentiment in the market change very rapidly over the last few months as uranium and nuclear power generation is seen as a very stable, consistent, predictable supply. And for our lithium projects, it was a discovery to resource in 9 months. It's very significant and size-wise. It's top 10 in the world today. And we continue to advance that from exploration, and we move it through to preliminary economic assessment for the end of first half of next year.
There's been a lot of talk about lithium and battery metals, especially at One-to-One this over the last 2 days. Do you have a positive outlook for the market?
Look, I think there's always bulls and bears in any commodity market. What we've seen over the last 10 months was a pullback in the spot price in China. The froth has come out of the market. A lot of lithium equities are down. Fortunately for us, we were just discovering a project and moving it through resource, so we never participated in the frothy part of the market, which means that we don't have shareholders that are underwater today. And I think that's really important because we're here to build a business. What we've seen in China in the last few weeks is starting to see a stabilization in that spot price, and I think it's important to bear in mind that spot price only makes up about 10% of the demand. If you look at the top 6-7 producers in the world, they continue to deliver at contract prices that are $14,000, $15,000. So I'm quite optimistic on the outlook. I think the demand side of EV adoption is fairly well accepted now. It's not something people really need convincing on, and we kind of had a scare on an oversupply concern potentially. But when you start to peel back the layers of the onions, I think the oversupply concerns don't look quite as significant as one would think.
And talk about your uranium project. We've seen, as you said, a turn in the market. Talk about the advantages and the opportunities you see there.
Yeah, absolutely. So our company's been around for about 10 years in Peru working in this particular area. We have over 900 square kilometers as a land package, and both projects are on this land package. They're very separate and distinct. They're about 25 kilometers apart. But the uranium project was really the founding basis for this company 10 years ago. And over that 10-year period, we've gone through a series of M&A transactions to pull together that land package as, in the post-Fukushima world, risk capital evaporated for uranium. And we're at 124 million pounds today. We've got a PEA stage project for a 70 million pound mine plan. And over the next 9 months, we'll be working on some, call it low capital intensity budget items that we never had the budget to run to ground previously. And as we unlock those, we think we'll have a project that improves from a profile perspective. And as a property-wide perspective, we've got 40 plus other targets to go look at. And we're looking at a very simple open pit operation with a low OPEX in a world where that development pipeline doesn't look that robust. And there really hasn't been that reinvestment. We've seen producers cut throughput. We've seen new physical buyers in the market, and we're seeing long-term contracts start to roll off over the next 6 to 9 months, which I think will ultimately lead to utilities and whatnot having to sign term contracts for the long term. They can't live without uranium. There's not a lot left physically out there, and we'll have this supply deficit and consistent demand for the next 25 years. The question is, when is that inflection point?
So what have been the core message you've been trying to get across to people at One-to-One?
I think the big message is I've been involved with the company for less than 8 weeks. I came in as an investor first, and I'm working with a phenomenal team. We've got a good balance between the financial discipline and the technical skills, and I think the big thing is if you look at the two projects and look at them as a sum of parts basis, we're an 80 million market cap Canadian today. We've got a very good share registry, but the projects themselves, if you look at them separately, are worth more than where we are today. Everybody says they're undervalued, but if you do the math and you take the time to look, you'll see that.
And so how have you found the conference so far?
It's been a great conference. We've had a very busy day and a half so far, and another busy afternoon. Good turnout. We've had a mix of investors and research-based people curious to hear what we're up to. And look forward to London. We'll be at the London one and the Hong Kong one as well.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you again in London.
Thanks, Rosie.